This presentation is a streamlined summary of the city's October 30th, 2025 evacuation planning meeting using simplified slides from the City Park Road Corridor Pilot. This isn't a general fire safety talk, it's a step-by-step walkthrough of a theoretical scenario and how a wildfire evacuation could unfold in our corridor, which has only one way in and one way out. If you watch through to the end, you'll see how each city agency coordinates its role, what the evacuation process looks like in a real time, and most importantly, what we can do as residents to avoid confusion and prevent chaos if an evacuation is ever required. Each expert department presented and showed their working together to ensure community safety and effective emergency response. We had about 60 people attending, of which 54 were City Park Road residents and 6 invited observers. First, let me start by covering how you'll receive emergency notifications. The city uses multiple alert systems. Warren Central Texas allows you to receive alerts via call, text, or email. You can customize your preferences and add multiple contacts, including family members or people who live outside the area. iPause is a geo-targeted system that will locate your mobile device automatically if you're in an affected area, but it requires you to enable it in your phone settings. You can also check austintexas.gov/alerts for real-time information at any time. City Park Road extends from FM 2222 and dead ends at Emmelong Park. It's surrounded by BCP Canyonland. This wildfire scenario takes place on October 19 at 2 p.m. Environmental conditions are critical. Temperatures 101 degrees Fahrenheit, relative humidity is at 20%, and we have south winds at 8 miles per hour. The National Fire Danger Rating System shows high to very high conditions. Now we will quickly walk through 3 hours of firefighting at 30-minute increments. A call comes into 911 reporting smoke, and it's assigned to the closest fire station, 47. At first, firefighters at 47 can't access the fire directly because of the steep canyon, so they upgrade the response to what is called a brush light assignment. That adds a brush truck and a battalion chief. The crew deploys on foot with backpacks, pumps, and hand tools to scout the fire. At this point, the goal isn't to put it out, it's to understand what they're dealing with. They'll assess spread potential, note exposures, and report back if they need air or dozer support. It's the first stage in what quickly becomes a larger coordinated operation. At the 30-minute mark, Engine 47 has located the fire at the base of a canyon. It's estimated to be 1 acre and burning in a draw. Battalion 3 arrives on scene, assumes command, and requests a full brush alarm. Dispatch triggers notification through the Warren Central Texas dispatch system. Command requests an engine strike team for structure defense and evacuation support, Starflight for aerial reconnaissance, and the Texas A&M Forest Service for additional resources. At this point, an evacuation order is issued through the notification system for Quiet Mountain Cove neighborhood that has 8 homes. Austin Emergency Management, police are all notified and begin coordination. APD establishes a roadblock at Bridgepoint Parkway, and EMS sets up a temporary assembly point at Jester Estates Shopping Center. A temporary assembly point provides a safe location where evacuees can register and let emergency personnel know the status of your home. Then you can go on to long-term shelters. The TAPs are managed by Austin Travis County EMS and the Red Cross. When you arrive, you'll use a QR code to provide your contact info and household status, or report any of your neighbors that need help. The TAP also provides basic services such as emergency medical care. This is particularly important for residents without transportation or those with access or functional needs. Taps are located at easily identifiable locations that residents can navigate to with minimal direction. They can also move. 1 hour into the incident, the fire has grown to 3.5 acres and is burning rapidly upslope. It's now moving faster than ground crews can contain due to limited access. Now evacuations are expanded for West Cliff, and it has 59 homes. An evacuation warning is issued for Long Canyon with 410 homes. 2 Type 1 engine teams are deployed for structure protection and evacuation support. Texas A&M Forest Service is on the scene. Dozer teams are en route, 1 hour from Smithville, 2 hours from Fredericksburg. 3-seat air tankers are on standby in Fredericksburg with a 45-minute flight time. The Emergency Operations Center is preparing to activate. APD has repositioned the checkpoint to Westminster Glen, and they have closed FM 2222 and City Park Road. The TAP is still at Jester Shopping Center. At the 1.5 hour mark, the fire is 15.6 acres and climbing uphill toward City Park Road. Embers are flying. The incident command post is relocated to a more advantageous position. The West Cliff evacuation is complete. However, some homeowners are refusing to evacuate despite the order. Crews have informed these residents that if fire conditions worsen, personnel will have to withdraw for safety and rescue operations will not be possible at that point. Fire crews are conducting prep and defend operations around structures in West Cliff and Quiet Mountain Cove. Aircraft are engaging the flanks of the fire. Texas A&M Forest Service crews are cutting dozer lines where terrain allows. APD Air 1 is providing aerial observation and relaying real-time updates on fire behavior to Incident Command. 2 hours into the incident, the fire is 42.7 acres and pushing up a drainage area on the left flank. Sections of Westminster Glen along City Park Road are now under evacuation order for 72 homes. A secondary tap is opened on River Place Boulevard as more residents flow out. The remainder of Westminster Glen and Glen Lake is under evacuation warning, meaning people can prepare to go out but don't have to leave yet unless they need extra time. This is for 520 homes. Residents not under evacuation order should shelter in place unless they require extra time to evacuate. Green Shores residents are advised to shelter in place. Shelter in place means go indoors, shut doors and windows, and stay inside until told it's safe to come out. This is for 345 homes. The Emergency Operations Center is now fully operational and planning is underway for sheltering, repopulation, damage assessment, and resource coordination. At the 3 hour mark, the fire is 93.4 acres. The fire has jumped City Park Road with spot fires reported around structures in West Cliff. Fire suppression operations are supported by aircraft, Texas A&M Forest Service dozers, and ground crews. Hose lines have been established along both flanks, and crews are making good progress containing the fire and strengthening the control lines. In West Cliff, the fire has been held at the neighborhood boundary. 2 outbuildings are on fire, and several homes have sustained minor deck and roof damage. In Quiet Mountain Cove, forward fire spread has been stopped with no property loss or structural damage. Westminster evacuation of designated homes is complete. Due to limited access in River Place, residents under evacuation warning who live voluntarily will not be allowed to return until the area is declared safe. This scenario showed just how quickly a response escalates, from a single engine to full multi-agency coordination in 3 hours. The fire started at 1 acre west of Quiet Mountain Cove in steep wooded terrain and grew to over 93 acres. And what started as a 1 acre fire becomes a regional event involving fire, police, EMS, Starflight, and the Texas A&M Forest Service. Firefighting operations were supported by aircraft dozers and ground crews. Hose lines were completed on both flanks. As the fire grew, evacuation orders were issued for Quiet Mountain Cove and expanded to West Cliff and parts of Westminster Glen. Long Canyon and parts of Westminster Glen and Glen Lake received an evacuation warning. Green Shores residents were directed to shelter in place. Evacuees were sent to the Jester and River Place estates, temporary assembly points. Total evacuated? Approximately 139 homes, or about 360 residents. In Westcliff, the fire was held at the neighborhood boundary with 2 outbuildings destroyed and minor damage happened to several homes. Quiet Mountain Cove had no damage. APD managed checkpoints throughout, and traffic control was adjusted as evacuations continued. Just to reiterate, an evacuation warning indicates a potential threat, advising people with special needs, pets, or livestock to leave early. An evacuation order is a lawful command to leave immediately due to an imminent and immediate threat of life and property. Shelter in place means to go indoors, shut the doors and windows, and stay inside until it's told it's safe to come out. It requires us all to follow direction from the first responders and alerts. Now let's discuss the recovery process. Once the fire is contained, a site assessment task force will be established. This multi-agency team includes the following. The task force will inspect for hazards like downlines, gas leaks, debris, or structure damage, and make recommendations for return. This coordinated approach ensures that all potential hazards are addressed before residents are allowed to return. Some easy to read and use resources are Ready, Set, Go Wildfire Action Guide. It's a practical 3-phase plan for wildfire readiness. The guide standardizes how residents and neighborhoods respond so everyone follows the same language and steps. And the ATX Wildfire Hub is an interactive site showing current wildfire activity, home risk maps, and mitigation resources. Residents can request a free home ignition zone assessment, access evacuation maps, and find landscaping and hardening tips. Ready Central Texas, the city's digital preparedness hub with tools for wildfire and all other hazards. It provides plan templates, alert signups, and the full Ready, Set, Go framework, helping neighbors coordinate and stay informed well before the crisis. The Preparedness Guide is city's step-by-step manual for households and neighborhoods. It covers how to make emergency kits, communication plans, and mutual aid networks, identify vulnerable neighbors, and organize block-level check-ins before, during, and after a disaster. A 14-question survey was completed by 35 attendees on the meeting. They found the strong points to be the realistic fire scenario, agency coordination, and expert presentations, especially valuable, along with practical tips like preparing a to-go bag. For improvement, they suggested slowing the pace of the slides, simplifying visuals, and saving questions until the end. Many asked for more detail on evacuation routes, traffic, pets, elderly or handicapped residents, and how road construction could affect evacuations. Their feedback will help shape the next sessions to be clearer, more focused, and more useful for everyone. After the meeting, attendees surveyed rated an average of 4.7 on being prepared for an evacuation. When asked to explain their rating, they said they appreciated the help getting ready and learned a lot about evacuation systems. There were still some concerns about traffic flow and overlooked brush clearing needed on City Park Road. Take action today. If you haven't already, create a to-go bag for each household member and pet. Sign up for Warren Central Texas Emergency Alerts at warrencentraltexas.org. Sign up for a home hardening evaluation at the Wildfire Hub. Thank you for caring about neighborhoods' safety. Feel free to send this video to your neighbors. This concludes the summary.